In 1997, a man made a bet. If he was wrong, he could lose billions of dollars. If he was right, an entire country's economy could collapse. Months later, Thailand's currency crashed. Businesses failed, millions lost their jobs, and a financial crisis spread across Asia. But here's the strange part. Some people called him a financial genius. Others called him the man who broke Thailand. This is the story of the bet that changed Asia forever. In the early 1990s, Thailand looked unstoppable. Its economy was growing at an incredible speed. Foreign investors poured billions into the country. Skyscrapers rose across Bangkok. Property prices exploded. Businesses borrowed money aggressively. To the world, Thailand looked like the future. And behind all this growth was one critical decision. Thailand fixed its currency, the baht, to the US dollar. This created stability. Investors love stability. Money flooded in. For years, the strategy worked. But beneath the surface, a dangerous problem was growing, and almost nobody noticed. Because the baht was tied to the dollar, investors believed it was safe. Thai companies borrowed massive amounts of money from overseas. Banks became increasingly exposed. Property developers kept building. Speculators kept investing. Everyone assumed the boom would continue forever. But then something changed. The US dollar began strengthening. And because Thailand's currency was tied to it, the baht became increasingly expensive. Thailand's exports became less competitive. Growth started slowing. Cracks began appearing in the economy. Yet the government continued defending the currency. And that caught the attention of some very powerful investors. One of those investors was George Soros. By the 1990s, Soros was already famous. Just a few years earlier, he had earned the nickname the man who broke the Bank of England. Now, many traders believe Thailand was vulnerable. But how exactly do you bet against an entire country's currency? Imagine you borrow 100 Thai baht from someone. You immediately exchange it for US dollars. At this point, you still owe 100 baht. Now imagine the baht collapses. Suddenly, buying back those 100 baht becomes much cheaper. You repay the loan and keep the difference as profit. The larger the collapse, the larger the profit. That's essentially what speculators were doing. They borrowed huge amounts of the baht, sold them for other currencies, and waited. If Thailand successfully defended its currency, the traders would lose billions. But if the government failed, the payout could be enormous. And the more traders that joined the attack, the greater the pressure became on the Thai government. The more traders sold the baht, the more Thailand's central bank had to fight back. Here's how. When investors wanted to dump Thai baht and buy US dollars, the government stepped in as a buyer. Imagine thousands of people suddenly trying to sell the same stock. The price would collapse unless someone kept buying. That's exactly what Thailand was doing. Every time traders sold baht, the central bank used its own US dollars to buy those baht back. The goal was simple: keep the baht's value from falling. Thailand's supply of US dollars wasn't unlimited. Every day, the government spent more of its reserves. Millions became billions, billions became tens of billions. The country was effectively burning through its savings account, trying to hold the line. Meanwhile, speculators kept attacking. They knew something important. The government could run out of dollars. They couldn't. And if Thailand ran out of reserves, the game would be over. The baht would collapse and the traders would win. Suddenly, the crisis wasn't just a bet anymore, it was a war of endurance. The question was simple: who would run out first? The speculators' patience or Thailand's money? On July 2nd, 1997, Thailand finally ran out of options. The government stopped defending the baht. Almost immediately, the currency plunged. Investors panicked. Foreign capital fled. Businesses that borrowed in foreign currencies suddenly faced enormous debts. Company that owed $1 million yesterday now effectively owed far more in local currency. Projects stopped, companies failed, banks struggled, confidence disappeared, and what began as a currency crisis quickly became much bigger, a national economic disaster. But Thailand's problems didn't stay in Thailand, they spread fast. As investors watched Thailand collapse, fear spread across Asia. Currencies in Indonesia, South Korea, Malaysia, and other countries came under pressure. Investors rushed for the exits. Markets crashed. Businesses failed. Millions of people were affected. The crisis became known as the Asian financial crisis, one of the most devastating financial events in modern history. And naturally, many people wanted someone to blame. For some, the answer was obvious: George Soros, the trader who had bet against the Baht, the man who supposedly broke Thailand. But was that really true? The truth is more complicated. Soros didn't create Thailand's debt. He didn't force banks to take excessive risks. He didn't create the property bubble. Those weaknesses already existed. What traders like Soros did was expose them. The bet didn't create the cracks, it revealed them. And that's why economists still debate the crisis today. Was Thailand destroyed by speculators, or was it destroyed by problems that had been building for years? Either way, the result was the same. One of the fastest growing economies in the world collapsed. A financial crisis spread across Asia, and a single trade entered economic history as the bet that broke Thailand. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more and click the video on your screen to explore another decision that changed history.